It's not normal to have a private actor like Tether and Circle that are the two giants of stablecoin market and that have only private actor to manage this business because it's like privatization of profit, share of losses, no transparency and centralization. And what we try to build in crypto is like the opposite of this. So the goal was to, I would say, re-democratize in certain ways the stablecoin ecosystem.
Do you think DeFi is back?
For me, the DeFi never stop. Clearly, it's one real use case that we are 100% sure. It's stablecoins. I think that there will be like a huge explosion of the DeFi and growth because what we forget is that we are really early. We really have a logic of design-driven company. It's not necessarily the tech that drives the company, for example. It's more what we want to achieve. So what is the problems and what solution we can design to achieve this goal.
Before we begin, please note that the content provided in this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as financial advice. Any decision you make based on the information presented here are at your own risk. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
Adli is the design executive officer of Usual Labs, the company developing Usual, a protocol bridging the gap between traditional and decentralized finance through the USD Zero stablecoin. Adli envisions a future where stablecoins are chain-agnostic and widely integrated. In this episode, we discuss the recent fundraise of Usual Labs, future of stablecoins, and of course, Adli's very interesting journey into crypto. I'm your host, Diksha Dutta, and you are listening to Web3 Quest. Enjoy the conversation. We want to ask you like a lot of questions about Usual Labs and stablecoin, but want to focus like on your personal story first. So why don't you take us through, where did you grow up? How did you get into tech? And within tech, how did you get into blockchain in the first place?
Okay. So I grew up in Saint-Emilion, which is known for wine. It's a small village, very small village, but very cosmopolitan because you have, I think it's the second most visited village in France. So there is a lot of people for everywhere. And I would say that I get in all the tech and computer stuff very young because we had a computer at the house when I was like 3, and internet when I was 5, if I remember well. So pretty quickly I was introduced to that, and my mother was like very like she wanted to do good stuff, so she take a learning course to know how to use the computer, etc. And so she shared me that, and I start to dig on the computer, I would say, kind of young, and I never I would say I never lose that passion for all the techie stuff, and I'm geek since I'm very young, and I start with mostly creative stuff during a long time. So like multimedia stuff, video editing, doing some graphic stuff, and I started doing website when I was 13, 14, just to make pocket money. I would say that is better than making a hard job at restaurant or stuff like that. So I started to make some business around that as a webmaster. When I was young, still I was at school, etc. It was not my activity, just to spare some money. And after I go in literature, so I made a prep school in classic studies, so Latin and Greek. I follow up with a degree in Latin and Greek and classics. At the same time, I also made some, I would say, others diploma on more managing tools for, accountant stuff, etc., to know how to make business, because I always wanted to make business. I have made studies just because I like to learn stuff, and I wanted to be, to have more stronger roots on all the, I would say, liberal stuff, and on the, because I'm like naturally more mathematic guy, so I'm going through the social science logic, and after that, I made linguistic studies, and so in language science and computer science applied to language science. Yeah, after I stopped because I starting having enough money with crypto to be sure that I will not take too much risk for my parents or stuff like that to stop the school. And yeah, and I also made like 3 years ago the war school as a civilian auditor. Mostly it's like 20 people per year that could be civilian auditors in the war school of Paris. And it's a way of going through all the military course, but for guys that already have made like 10, 15 years in the military. So it's the start of the second part of career that will be more like commanders, I would say. And so they want that all those future people of power in the army know people in the civil society in subjects that are near the army. And so as I was specializing in crypto, etc., I had access to that. And yeah, that mostly I would say my academic stuff, etc. And I was I'm mainly curious since I'm young on different subjects, and that's how I came to crypto because I was techie in certain way, and I first saw Bitcoin in 2011 on Juarez website. To be honest, it was a donation. I saw the address as a donation, and I was thinking it was like a PayPal because it's a Bitcoin. So I was like, okay, it's like donation with only around to a real coin, like for example $1 or stuff like that. But it was not that. So at that moment, I miss Bitcoin. And 2 years after, in 2013, I saw an article about Germany, the fiscal administration in Germany, that was like recognized Bitcoin as a foreign currency. And in an article of a French newspaper, I was like, this is not just PayPal-like or donation system. It's more than that. So I started a search, and you know who it is. You start and you never finish. And yeah, at that time I was in classic studies, and I made like 4 or 5 years of non-profit mainly activities because I was student, so I didn't need directly to make business. And I co-found one media, crypto media, that was Le Coin Coin in France, one of the first in France. I also co-found Le Cercle du Coin with a non-profit organization for French speaker on crypto, one of the biggest in Europe. And I was chairman for the non-profit during 8 years. I also co-found like meetups, doing meal, like regular meal, also for crypto people, mainly like I would say spread the crypto world. And at that moment, I start to have some companies that asked me for some training or stuff like that. So I also like sell little stuff, but I was not in that logic. It was more spreading about crypto. I also wrote 3 books about Bitcoin. One is like the reference one for French speaker in certain way. The first one, Bitcoin la monnaie céphale, that I co-wrote with Jacques Favier. And as I say, starting 2017 with the bull run, I had enough to not take risk, and I started doing business. I co-founded a consulting firm that help crypto companies and non-crypto companies to better know themselves, I would say. I also advise many different companies in crypto, invest, and I've been through different ventures that lead me to open a fund. I have a fund in Luxembourg that is focused on crypto, venture, and liquid trading also. And I've been managing this fund for 4 years, and it's still running. It's automated, etc. And 2 years ago, we start with Pierre. We know each other because he was a congressman in France, and he was like the crypto congressman of France. He drafts the law, etc. And I knew him because I was doing some lobbying in certain way. And so I was we were consulted by like state agency and stuff like that about crypto, and that's how I met Pierre. And at the end of his mandate, so 2 years ago, we speak, and he said to me, "Oh, I want to do stablecoin, etc." Was not so much passionate about stablecoins because I'm more, I would say, I was like more little bit Bitcoin maximalist, crypto maximalist, I would say, and stablecoin was boring stuff for me. And he explained me all the, subject around stablecoin, the business model, etc. And I was like, it bring a light, and I was like, okay, so there is rooms to do fun stuff, and clearly. Currently, the ethos of crypto is not respected in the stablecoin area, the fiat-backed stablecoin area, and so we try to get back to that, I would say.
So now let's come to Usual Labs. How do you explain the core mission or vision, or the ethos behind Usual Labs? Like, why did you co-found it? And people who are not aware of what it's doing. It's doing great things, by the way. It recently got funded as well. So please give a little background of that.
Yeah, no, the logic is very politic since the beginning with Pierre. We think that it's not normal to have a private actor like Tether and Circle that are the two giants of stablecoin market, and that have only private actor to manage this business because it's like privatization of profit, share of losses, no transparency, and centralization. And what we try to build in crypto is like the opposite of this. So the goal was to, I would say, re-democratize in certain ways the stablecoin ecosystem with a fiat-backed stablecoin, because we think it's still the most efficient model. That's why Tether and Circle are here, and it's a little bit more difficult for other issuers that are backed by crypto and stuff like that, because it's clearly a different product. So we think that it was possible to like make a common Tether and a common Circle, and our goal is really to create a common. I would say that the goal is to have a set of smart contracts dictated by a DEO, and having everybody around the table with the possibility of co-owning in certain ways the stablecoin issuer. And that was our mission since the beginning, to like those 7 astronomic profit, 7 billions last year of Tether, to make those a common enterprise, I would say, a common, something that everybody could have a part as a user, like we do in crypto. Like people were airdrop by Uniswap because they was using Uniswap. That really is the ethos of crypto, to like share the value, share the power, etc. And we think that it's better, even in terms of resilience, to share the power in the case of a stablecoin, because the more neutral the stablecoin is, the more resilient it is. And if you share the power of the issuer with everybody, you have something that is more difficult to stop, because it's truly decentralized, and also because it's not tied to one entity. Because as we see, Binance USD, for example, get tackled down very quickly by the United States, even if it was Paxos regulated, etc. So they could target also like a specific brand or company, and it's more difficult if it's totally neutral, without any affiliation to one exchange or stuff like that, because Circle is like very close to Coinbase. You have Tether that is very close to Bitfinex. So it add risk also, all those logic, and it's better also for, I would say, exchange that doesn't have their stablecoin to have access to a neutral stablecoin, and not a stablecoin that is very close to another exchange in certain way. So it's more like rebalance the power in the stablecoin market, and realign the interest of every user of stablecoin and every, I would say, third parties that make stablecoin useful, and how to make a stablecoin useful. You also need the integration. You also need the liquidity, etc., etc. And so the goal is to really share the power with all those persons around the table that make a stablecoin a success.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for explaining that, because I was going to ask you that how is it really different from, and why would I use it? So, in my experience, Adli, people who actually use stablecoins and in fact even get paid in crypto do not know the technology behind it,
Yeah.
And so when you are going for user adoption, how are you going to solve this problem that somebody who is converting their crypto into stablecoin or even buying stablecoin like knows that this is the right choice without considering, like, I have a friend who doesn't know anything about crypto but still sort of like invests?
Yeah, I think from our perspective, it's a plan in several steps. For the usage, I will say real usage of stablecoin, you need big network effect. Like you need to be integrated everywhere. You need to have a presence in many different service provider and payment service provider, because people, as you say, people don't know that they use sometimes Tethers as an underlying of some transaction of a new payment way mainly in South country more than in North country. Yeah, for us, the plan is to have liquidity first. So our first target will be DeFi, and it's very aligned with the DeFi because the DeFi right now rely on those centralized issuer. It's very funny, and so the goal is to first get liquidity in DeFi through potential like a potential advantage of being a common stablecoin. And the two other usage, I will say, is like mean of payment, like you say, and trading counterparty. And those two usage, you cannot do that day one. So that's why we go first on the liquidity, and after we'll be more on the, I would say, consumer logic. And so having a lot of integration, etc. Because you cannot have the integration without the liquidity. And so you have to I would say, to place a plan in the right order. And clearly the goal is to have a stablecoin that is used. And we already start some integration. We'll have normally spending capabilities in maybe 2 months, something like that. Thanks to OLL or that kind of issuer in the crypto card issuer. And same for the ramp on, I would say, with some existing provider. And the goal is to make integration always to be to start to spread, I would say, the stablecoin, and so spread also the power in certain way.
Interesting.
The neutrality.
Yeah. So can you repeat the 3 steps? You said first is liquidity, second is the commercial.
I think second is a trading counterpart maybe, and
Okay.
last mean of payment. Because mean of payment, you really have to have the network of people that accept in certain way this payment.
Yeah.
And it's a more complicated stuff, because you need to have the liquidity, you need to have big market, so you need in certain way to be a trading counterpart already, and to be very liquid also.
Okay. So there's also one more question. So you raised funds recently, and I think you raised 7 million with some major investors, but you collectively brought together, like, I think 100 investors.
Yeah, more than 100.
Yeah, more than 100, right? So what was your experience with raising funds? Like, was it easy for you, or you had to pivot a lot? Like, how did you pitch your model?
We didn't pivot so much. I think we really didn't pivot. We changed the model in terms of tokenomics modeling and financial modeling, because we find better way to achieve the goal of having a good equilibrium and balance. So clearly on that side we have made change, and about the funding, we had I would say easy financing from close friends. After it was more complicated during the bear market
Yeah.
to raise funds. And we find good partner with IOSG and Kraken to lead the round. And after, I would say the market was more bullish again, so it was more easy. And the more you progress, also the more you have proof that you are doing good stuff and you are in the good direction. So I would say that it's more and more easy in the step the fundraising, and yeah, it was good to meet all those people, to also take feedbacks. Yeah, it's a good experience to also I would say confront your product to people even before being launched, and so to have also interesting insight and yeah, to also build this network and web of people that we need to make this stablecoin a success. Because it's also important to have a, I would say, direct line with many players in the industry to go quick and to make as I say always, the more integration we can make.
Do you think DeFi is back in 2024?
Yeah. For me, the DeFi never stop. Clearly, it's if there is one real use case that we are 100% sure,
Mm-hmm.
you say it's stablecoins, because clearly there is usage of stablecoin and DeFi in crypto. And you have I would say, not the first usage was store of value, maybe for Bitcoin, etc. And payment also. And DeFi is it's just after. And clearly, it never stop. If you look at the TVL, it has goes down, like all the market, but like protocol continue to run. And it was not the case between 2017 and 2021, for example. It was like totally dead. There was no activity in the crypto. Now there is, I would say, app and usage, and people really use those apps. Donc, so yeah, no, I think that there will be like a huge explosion of the DeFi and growth, because what we forget is that we are really, really, really early. We always forget that, and because we are like in 99, sorry, if we compare to internet adoption. So like we have lot of space in front of us, and there is more and more, I would say, in DeFi. I think that the composability problem will be more and more solved also between chains, with the account abstraction also that will facilitate the usage. So yeah, clearly I think DeFi will be one of the biggest trend in the next years. DeFi / stablecoin RWA, because it's kinda, I would say, a little bit the same activities. And yeah, we have to, I think, continue to develop DeFi also, maybe on the governance side, because we can see that it's complicated to run protocol that are decentralized. Sometimes it's not really decentralized. Sometimes there is a lot of work on that, I think, but on the usage, clearly, it works.
And how do you plan to use, the capital you have raised? Like, how do the next, say, 1 year, 6 months look for you at Usual Labs?
We are now 20, so it's capital are mainly for financing the work of people, I would say. We don't have a lot of specific expense. We have for sure, legal stuff, marketing stuff, etc. But it's mainly brain in certain way, and energy that we pay, and the usage goes there. And the goal is to pre-launch very soon the protocol on board the TVL, and yeah, we'll make a announce very, very soon about all that. And the goal is to start. I would say that this round was for financing this pre-launch and the time of the pre-launch, and we should go on fundraising again very soon for the very growth purpose.
Yeah, makes sense. Your title is very interesting. It's called Design Executive Officer. So, what does your typical day look like at Usual Labs, and how did you come up with this name, Design Executive Officer, and why?
Yeah, no, why this name? Because I have a real admiration for companies that have a DO, or it could be CDO also sometime, like John Ive, for example, at Apple, because I think Apple will be nothing without the design thinking of John Ive, aside Steve Jobs, that was also a great guy in terms of business. But clearly, I think that it's very important, and Pierre also, we are pretty aligned on that, it's very important to always have design in mind for every purpose, because like design can apply to everything. It's how you basically find the solution in certain way. And so we want to have, I would say, clean aesthetics and design. We want to have clean tokenomics design. We want to have, the better UX we can have. It's very important also. So we really have a logic of design-driven company. It's not necessarily the tech that drives the company, for example. It's more what we want to achieve. So what is the problems and what solution we can find, what solution we can design to achieve this goal. And after we try to see on all verticals so we can implement the solution, but it's not the inverse in our case. And yeah, my typical day, as I say, we focus a lot of integration. So I made a lot of call with different people, Pierre also, and I do tokenomics every day. I follow what we are doing in terms of model, etc. That everything work well. If there is a challenge, how we can face the challenge. I'm also every day on the product. I go on the Figma, exchange with the product team, and look at everything. Everything is okay, and yeah, the same. We try to find best solution for UX, because yes, there is a lot of constraints in crypto on the UX side. That will be less and less the case, but for the moment it's the case, and we are on Ethereum mainnet. So if, for example, the gas fee is a problem, and we'll try to, I would say, erase those problems the more we can, one by one. And yeah, we are searching, I would say, elegant solution for every problem we have, and we are pretty cautious on what we do, and we really want to have be tier one on every aspect of the project. And so that, yeah, I think that's why design drive us, because when you think about design, you can, I would say, search for the perfection in certain way, even if it cannot be the perfection, but you can search for it, compared to like try and die that can, for example, Facebook was made like that, like let's break things. It was not like searching for the perfect solution on the long run. It was more, let's try things. Some will work, some will not work, and we will find great stuff like that. And we cannot do that as a stablecoin also, because you need to create trust. You need to have a little bit of clear view on what you want to do on the long run. In the crypto, what you do is like not immutable, but should be the more immutable it can. So it's also another constraint. And and one another very important subject is how you can have a strong bootstrap in your project. So having a quick growth at the beginning of user, etc., user TVL, but also the sustainability. Because in crypto, there is the two problems. So some projects never bootstrap, and they could be very good in tech or stuff, and everybody's okay with that. But there is like no bootstrap, no first sparkle, And on the other case, there is crypto that had like very short hype, and then nobody cares or talk about and use. And we have to find the good balance to have the bootstrap and the continuity, and not just the bootstrap, or or not just the sustainability without the bootstrap.
So how has bootstrapping helped like Usual Labs?
Because as we are a stablecoin protocol, you need trust. What provide trust? You can provide, I would say, a great paper with audit, technical audits, how the protocol work, etc. But to be honest, this is only a part. The other part is like the social trust. And so having big names that enter in your protocol, that use your protocol, deposit TVL, so take risk in certain way in your protocol. And yeah, that's what I would say search for. We think that it's important for the bootstrap to create trust, and also like emotional, I would say, FOMO or gaming logic, because that's how crypto work, I would say, and that's why we will do a point period. And yeah, we have made a lot of effort, and we have spent a lot of time searching for TVL even before launch, because we think that it's very, very important to have a big TVL for the trust, and as I say also, before for the liquidity, because really liquidity is key. For whatever you want to do with a stablecoin, you will need always to have good liquidity, good ramp on, ramp off, etc. So that's why we focus on those for the bootstrap, having the right people around us, that trust us, that shows that we are trustable, having the good paper that shows that we are trustable also, and we try to audit what we do, etc., and to have a reviewing on what we do, and I would say play the crypto game and ethos of creating some FOMO and joyful stuff around the project.
So what is like your 5-year vision for stablecoins, and also for Usual Labs? Like, what do you want to see in the ideal future of stablecoins?
I think the future for Usual that I would love is to have something that is that become a true common with I would say complex but very accessible governance of the project, because really I think it's very important to find a way to have governance that work for on I would say efficiency wise, but also in terms of participation and people being implied in, etc. So my dream, I think, is to be the more universal and agnostic we can. So being the more chain agnostic we can, the more chain abstracted we can, the more account abstracted we can. So we can deploy everywhere, and also be the more asset abstracted we can. So that you can build synthetics, because our stablecoin is like a synthetic of I will go a little bit technical, money market fund shares, because in certain way you deposit some collateral and we issue I would say the DEO issues USD0, and we think we can do that with also other assets, and have like a common project and DAO where value accruing while everybody keeps the power on what they accrue, and so become like ideally near a standard in the DeFi environment for that logic. Like it will be a model, I would say, of synthetic logic, financial synthetic logic, and it will be great. I think the honor will be that we will have some copy, like for example Olympus has, and yeah, the logic is really to provide a new framework for financial asset in crypto, and for I would say for tokenomics, because that's where we have put the most energy and brains in the beginning, Our engineer stuff is more on the tokenomics side than the technical side. To be honest, we don't invent many stuff in terms of tech and code, but clearly on the tokenomics, we have made a lot of innovation, and we think that it's very important to have tokenomics that are powerful to achieve those goals. And after, I will say, on the 5-year vision, the great stuff will be to be able to develop a lot of service around. Because as a stablecoin issuer, and as I say, as a maybe synthetic issuer, with a liquid deposit token, this concept that we create, like you have a deposit on a smart contract and you have the liquid representation of this deposit without the yield, because the yield goes in treasury, and so it goes in the common treasury of every participant of the DEO. And the logic of this liquid deposit token is to make it integrated everywhere, and also to have like a side service that we can build, financial service, always decentralized and under the same brands and value, I will say, with usual. Yeah, I think on 5 years, but it's complicated to speak on 5 years because, crypto goes very quick. I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff to do also on the probability of things with ZK, etc. I think that we will have to be to go also, I will say, on the dApp chain logic or something like that. And yeah, my dream, that was a dream, I would say, on the crypto side, and the others on the consumer side will be to build the first non-custodial modular bank in certain way. So not a bank, because a bank is like something that is regulated, etc. But logic of having the possibility of bridging crypto and already existing banking logic, like Gnosis Pay, like Revolut, every app, and having an app where you can, like, you deposit some cash, you have a liquid deposit token, and at start that on the app you don't have IBAN, you don't have a card, etc., and you choose all component of your bank in certain way, and you can directly top up or go on non-custodial directly, etc. And this with a smart contract environment and evolution, it will be clearly possible. When you see what OEL will be capable of and Gnosis Pay will be capable of with the smart contract logic, it's very, very interesting. And yeah, we think that like the UI should be something that should be modular also, because DeFi Lego is great, but you have to interact with, and everybody should be able to interact with. And we think that we can also plug banking Lego in that DeFi Lego. And yeah, I think this will be the end game of having something where you build your own bank in certain way.
Yeah, that's a beautiful vision, actually. And yeah, you're right. It's very difficult to envision, what will happen in 5 years with things changing. But still, it's good to have it in your mind. And now we have 3 minutes, but I really want to ask you some rapid fire questions. We do this in the end of every episode. So we will keep it like fun and short. Okay, so one word that you would use to describe blockchain.
Decentralized.
Yes. If you were not working in blockchain, what would you be doing?
Art of politics.
Nice. A technology you wish had already been invented and it was out there.
Heard, like 2 days ago with the news of OpenAI.
Yeah, it's already there. Huh? Okay, it's out there.
What I want as a technology that didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Didn't exist yet.
Yes.
Complicated one. Sorry for going quick on this one. I would say energy stuff mainly, because if we solve the energy problem, we solve kind of most of the problem of the world.
Yeah. What is that one hobby you wish you had more time for?
I have so many hobby, like
Nice.
reading. I would say maybe just reading. I don't have the time to read much. Like I read like always targeted stuff and not like free reading like that those days. So yeah, reading I think.
Okay. And if you had the opportunity to have dinner with like a celebrity, who would you choose and why?
Nowadays, complicated one also. Mm, maybe Noam Chomsky.
Okay, and why?
Because I love linguistic.
Mhm.
I think it's interesting also on the philosophical part, and I think it could be a funny guy to eat with.
Yes. Okay, that's an interesting answer. We haven't received it. So, thank you, Adli. It was really, really fun talking to you. And thanks for spending the time. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And
Thank you for
please, yes, thank you. Please leave a comment if you liked listening to this episode. Bye bye.